Get over here!
Ladies and gentlemen who join we, here is floor number 3. And it's a big one.
Gorgons.
Yeah, so we got these guys to deal with. Thankfully, none of them have Shadow Shot.
Why did it have to be Gorgons?
Why did it have to be snakes? Yeah, again, none of them have Shadow Shot, so we don't have to worry about that. But Stone is a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
Now then, yeah, we're pretty much just going to, make our way up very, very slowly, taking things one step at a time. And the first step is going to be these guys. This guy's got a Lance Reaver and a Killer Lance. Along with this guy with a Steel Lance and a Shamshir.
Yeah, these guys are funny.
Uh-huh.
The Crit Buddies. Yeah, I mean, they take a beating, but...
I'm gonna hope for the crit so that I don't have to use Siegeland.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. If she manages to kill him, right?
Yeah.
We get that Killer Lance.
Yeah.
In addition, if we can then dance to have her go after the other guy, we can get that Shamshir.
All without even giving them a turn.
Here we go. Come on, Erica. Heck yes!
Alright, good work.
Mm-hmm, that's what I like to see, girl.
Yeah, so Tethys has joined us today. She's carrying some chest keys.
Yep, we're gonna need those.
Should we introduce ourselves?
Oh yeah,
I don't know
hi.
if we've been doing that for each episode of Lagdou.
I mean, it's cool either way, but like, yeah, hell yeah. Hey everyone, I'm the Green Scorpion.
I'm the ComicFoil.
And here we are in the Lagdou Ruins, floor 3. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Moving on. So, let's see what we can do here.
I mean, I think if you want to use a Siegeland on this, that's fine.
Yeah, this is one case where I do want to do it. Because I don't want him pulling out that Shamshir and using it on Tethys, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, I want that Shamshir in our inventory.
Yeah, 2 charges of Siegeland to secure a Shamshir, you know, like, this makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'd say that's worth. We can even give it to her if we wanted to.
Yeah, do you want to drop the Steel Blade?
Yeah, why not?
And by drop, I mean send.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have to keep an eye on these Gorgons, on the, movement speed of these Gorgons.
Yeah.
Because, or the range of these Gorgons, because, like, a stone would be very problematic. One thing we could do is that these guys don't have any keys, right? We can send Loot over here to take this guy out lickety-split.
Yeah. And if she gets hit with stone, that's okay.
Yeah, because, like, these guys don't have any ranged attacks.
Yeah, if there's no follow-ups, then I'm not really worried.
I say we do that, and I think we can also give her a little boost. Mulder, you're on.
I do want to say, I've been playing along with the Mulder thing and pretending I'm annoyed with it, but I have always been pro Mulder.
I know you have.
We just didn't use him on this playthrough.
Yeah.
Until now.
I kind of, like, am admittedly maybe a little bit amused by the potential challenge of actually having him, like, you know, join us for this.
It's a lot easier to bring an underleveled Mulder into here than it would be to bring, like, underleveled Amelia.
Absolutely, absolutely, because, like, again, we can just regale Mulder to healing duty.
Yeah, he doesn't have to see combat.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we don't want him to see combat.
Yeah. Whereas with Amelia, you pretty much have to, like, give her a javelin and try and, like, sneak killing blows in with her.
Pretty much.
Kind of like leveling up Nephany early on, except even worse.
Don't worry about this, I'm just checking numbers.
Okay.
Mainly because, like, this guy has, this guy is in range of Mulder, but if we put Ross and, Natasha right here, then they'll be fine. That being said, what do these guys have? Steel Lance and Steel Lance. Yeah! Yeah, if we put Ross right here and Natasha right here, they can handle this just fine.
It works for me.
Let me just double check Natasha's numbers. Oh, yeah, she's got this.
Yeah, she's safe.
Even if she takes 17 damage, like, that's just more for Mulder to do.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Divine.
Yeah, we have a lot of high-level items in our back pocket. We still have all 3 charges on the Latona staff sitting in our supply.
Yep. And yep, there you go. And as a matter of fact, what we can do here is... yeah, we can bait a couple of these guys to come in and charge at Ephraim, who can proc an Armor Slayer dude. Yeah, this'll work just fine. Nice dodge. I'll admit, I didn't realize that he could reach Natasha, but she's fine. Well done!
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too worried about a Skelly Boy with, like, a regular weapon.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So I gotta say, a lot of the conversation with, like, some of the previous episodes that we did recently has been very interesting. The first, as of now, the first of the Lagdou ruins, the first floor, got released on YouTube, and a lot of people have had some pretty cool opinions about, like, what they want to see and what they don't want to see going into future games. One that really interested me, actually, and I think I agree with this, is the auto class up upon reaching level 21 from Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn.
I'm gonna bring up that comment section. Maybe we can, like, address... like, go down a list and address our thoughts on different ones.
I actually wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah,
Plus, there's one comment in there that I actually found super awesome that I will address in a moment. Or, like, once you get to it. But, like, it's just, like, that comment made me so happy.
Yeah, Darren Road here. Sorry, I have, like, a sneeze that's not coming out.
Oh, I hate that.
I have one of those.
Natasha! Well done!
Yeah, Darren Road at the top of the list here is talking about the automatic class promotion at level 21.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got reinforcements. And, she's turned to stone.
Okay, then I think we want to use Natasha to kill that guy real quick.
Assuming she can. There'd be another option. We could, have, Erica basically just go across the map with Tethys' help.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not enough. What's your movement?
Yeah, what about Ephraim?
So, if, Ephraim got danced right here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just enough.
Are we sure his movement is 7?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we got these bozos coming in, but this is easily handled by Ross. What do you got, sir? You got a spear, so we're gonna need to use the hand axe. Unless... oh no, I have a better idea. Okay, so I'm gonna start with getting this guy out of the board first.
Okay.
So, Tethys. Just making sure. Yes. So we put you right over here. We were about to start a conversation, and suddenly, reinforcements!
Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, if we're gonna be getting constant reinforcements, we're gonna have to put a lot more thought into this.
Silver Lance.
Silver Lance sounds good. Good crit. I like it.
Someone else in the comments was like, this is a very crit-happy army, and I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, skill is very prevalent in Sacred Stones.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second, can you? No, it's just physic, okay.
If you want, you can trade that to Natasha. And
I was actually thinking just that.
Yeah. The only thing is we need to think about these 3 up here and how, like, we need to make sure that they don't then go up and attack Molder.
Mm-hmm. We do have a rescue staff with Natasha, but a rescue staff is very, very valuable.
Yeah. I'd almost rather just keep loot there than use a rescue.
No, actually, because this she still has Demon Surge.
So, yeah, she'll be able to go up and do an attack.
Yeah. I'd rather not risk loot's safety, even if it's just a Demon Surge.
Okay.
Actually, now that I think about it... Does Demon Surge go off of physical or magic?
That's a great question.
I mean, I'd rather not risk it either way.
I know that they take more damage when they're turned to stone, though, also.
Yeah, I think I'd rather play it safe. This might actually be an opportunity. This might actually be one of those moments where we should use a rescue staff. I'm calling it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just check your movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, that works.
Somebody was calling him Molder the Boulder. This is Molder the Unboulder.
Now he's got stuff to do.
He de-boulders.
Alright. This actually might be worth, because this, with him there, he's not in range of this, and he's just out of range of these guys, and these two will come after Ross.
Yeah.
I probably should have done that instead.
Well, then might it be better to... Oh, no, because this is going to get a kill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather we go ahead and, like, get that nipped in the bud now before anything else. Especially if Ross is going to do that.
Yeah.
I was thinking of having Artur come up and deal with these guys, but I don't know how well he does against an arrow. So now that I think about it,
I mean, he could go right up to the archer and then not get countered, but then is the other guy going to be a problem?
I'm gonna let Ross handle this.
Yeah, Ross is safer.
Tethys is in the line of fire, but I'm not worried about Tethys.
She's a dodge tank.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we are good. Oh, I have an idea.
Okay.
So loot is free now, right?
Yeah, she is.
We put her here, bait another stone, and then we can take care of her next turn.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, that's our game plan. And I'm gonna leave you just out of range. Okay, so we're good now.
Alright, let's see what they do.
Yeah, you guys do that. That's fine. Man.
Yeah, we're losing the coin tosses here.
That's fine, though. At least it gives, again, it gives Molder something to do with the barrier.
Yeah.
Or not the barrier, the restore staff, so I'm fine with this.
And we can hit that Medusa next turn now.
Yep. Ross!
Good crit.
Ross the boss, man. There goes that hand axe. Huh. He went after... Oh, it's because he has the killer axe equipped.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Instead of going to the next hand axe.
Well, no, yeah, but, like, it's like... I'm surprised he didn't go after Tethys. Maybe it's because Tethys is dodgier?
I think he had a better chance to damage Ross.
Probably. Anyway, we're good now. So, yeah, what are some of these comments that we've gotten?
Okay, so first of all, like you were saying, the automatic promotion at level 21.
I actually wouldn't mind that one, personally.
Yeah.
Not that I mind, like, promotion items. I think they're fine. But,
I like promotion items for promoting units early.
Yeah.
So that I can not use them. I mean, there is something about, like... I guess if there was automatic promotion, then I wouldn't care about the promotion items ever, because I would always just auto-promote.
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of economy you're trying to do with the items in your game, I guess.
I'm gonna use an Excalibur here just to get this Gorgon out of the way.
Okay.
I will say there is merit to promoting early, according to some of the more, like, metagame behind, like, you know, doing Iron Mans and, like, you know, going for the more optimal builds.
Yeah.
So, like, there is merit there. I just, like, I don't have the brain power to really calculate everything involved in such.
Yeah, that's the, like, a bird in a hand is worth two in the bush, that if you promote them earlier, you can do crazier stuff with them earlier and get the riskier rewards. Do you maybe want to fall back with Ross?
Oh, I'm definitely falling back with Ross.
can-
I'm just like doing some calculations in my head right now.
Yeah. And then everybody can help fight those skellies.
Yep. I'm gonna actually save on that hand axe. I'm just gonna let Ross take a hit, just so, like, we can save that for a more crucial moment if need be.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I wouldn't mind, like, I actually wouldn't mind at all getting that, getting the auto, promote, because that's more incentive to be like, oh, hey, all this gold that I spent on, second seals and, like, master seals, I can now use for other things, like upgrading weapons, or, like, you know, buying, more supplies and things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one I can definitely agree with.
K-Pimp Master says, I want a compelling, well-written story and characters, enjoyable, and their stories don't leave you with a bunch of questions. Yeah. I mean, we all want good stories, yeah.
Yeah, yes and no in regards to, in regards to, like, you know, the idea of, leaving questions unanswered. In terms of, like, the basic plot, kind of. Mainly because, like, I think I think there is actually some value in having some unanswered questions.
Yeah, there can be value in, what's the word not like vagueness, but, like, leaving things up to interpretation.
Yes, I think that's a really good way to put it.
But, yeah, if you're, like, leaving... Yeah, there's, like, certain things that are, like, too basic for you to leave up to interpretation, so... Yeah, I mean, as a general rule, yeah, I agree.
Like, no one needs to know everything that Ike did after he left, Tellius, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of better that we don't have complete confirmation of what goes on after that, like...
Exactly, and then there's the other aspect of, like, you know, it's nice to leave some unanswered questions in the form of, oh, hey, we don't know what the resolution of this support conversation with this one person was, in the end. So it's like, oh, hey, like, you know, what if, we don't know fully about the curing of Lysithia's crest after she got together with Hanneman, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. So, like, leaving unanswered questions, like, okay, actually, I'm going to use Three Houses as a good example here.
Okay.
The unanswered question of whether Lysithia actually got her double crest healed. Yeah, that can be an unanswered question because that's fun to speculate.
That's like a story, yeah, like, you don't have to... Like, after the story ends, you don't have to keep telling you, like... You could go on forever trying to say, what happened next, what happened next, what happened next. Like, eventually you have to, like, leave it to...
Yeah. The unanswered question of what the hell happened to those who slither in the dark after Edelgard's campaign, that's a question I would like answered, please! Which Three Hopes kind of did, but that's something I would have liked to have handled in the story itself, you know what I mean?
I don't want to have to play the Muso spin-off game whose, like, canonicity I'm not even sure about to get an answer on something...
Kinda important!
Pretty important, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't... Yeah, my, like, unanswered questions for Three Houses are generally things like, why did they write it like that? I think a lot of the plot works pretty well, but yeah, there are always things, and
we're gonna definitely take a couple of risky hits here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take out the most problematic of the ones. So yeah, just bear with me here. Oh, you know what? I think I know how we can do this. Yeah, bear with me here.
Sorry, I'm also just, like, reading people's comments.
No, you're good, brother.
So this isn't so much a... you keep doing this, I'm going to talk.
Yeah.
I'll fill in the empty space here.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so this isn't so much a, like, what somebody wants. This is just an interesting comment that I like.
Yeah.
Bojenko Sarek says... the problem with route... I agree with this a lot. That the problem with route branching that leads to different story paths, as much as I enjoy it, is that it makes writing a holistically coherent narrative that justifies the aspect of it difficult.
I completely agree.
So many stories struggle with, if it's not Fate's giving... so many stories struggle with it. If it's not Fate's giving you a perfect path where almost everyone you like can live, while Birthright and Conquest actually have better story content and creative maps, then it's three houses not changing much between houses for WC not changing much between certain houses, and then feeling like they really cut off a lot of details between other routes. Quite hard. Better examples would be Tactics Ogre and Triangle Strategy, which do really interesting stuff with story splits. Haven't played Tactics Ogre, but I do agree with Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Like, Three Houses, I guess, has, like, a really interesting world building and lore, and the fact that there's different story routes lets you explore different parts of that huge world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, any game that's going to give the player choice on how the narrative plays out is also going to risk having, like, a less curated story. Like, the plot... Like, then the writers can't plan the plot points as easily.
Yeah. You know, that's actually the main sticking point with me for Three Houses, and by extension Fates. I still, like, obviously, like, I like one more than the other. But yeah, no, one of the things about Fates is that, when it comes to, like, that branching story aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's a very... It becomes a very bad case of them having to tell and not show a lot of details.
Yeah, because you can't be everywhere because you have to follow certain routes, then you're just, like...
It's like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? What about these?
Yeah.
Like, what happened here type of thing.
Like, doing... Oh, that's what... Yeah, doing Verdant Wind first.
Oh, okay.
I said... One, it made the reveal of the Flame Emperor and their identity very underwhelming to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just like, oh, it turns out it's a character who, like, I know is important, but hasn't been important to my story.
Yeah.
And the other side of it was, Edelgard wasn't in the story very much beforehand, so, like, her reveal of her villain turn doesn't mean much to me because I have no emotional connection to her other than knowing that she's on the front of the box.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Dimitri. Mm-hmm. So, like, Dimitri's story, if your first playthrough is Verdant Wind, is super underwhelming. But, like, at least with Dimitri, I feel like then when I did other story routes with him, it was, like, interesting and fun to be like, oh, okay, I kind of get what his deal is now.
Yeah.
The, like, Flame Emperor reveal, you can never get that reveal again.
Mm-hmm.
You can never be surprised by that again.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the sticking points. And that leads into, like, kind of an issue of, how do I put this? It definitely becomes a situation of, oh, in order to, like, experience everything, you have to do every single bit. Like, it's kind of a similar problem in this game, Sacred Stones, as a matter of fact, because a lot of the details that, you know, we should be privy to, going into, like, you know...
You get plot split FOMO, where, like, whichever side you take, you feel like you're missing out on the other side.
Exactly. And that was also one of the situations that, like, kind of, like,
Tales of Exilia, I think, also has that
You
problem.
read my mind. Like,
Yeah.
this is one of the sticking points of Tales of Xillia, because, like, you know, Tales of Xillia, great story. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here. Why is it that I have to play through the entire game, twice? Which, by the way, Xillia is not a short game. Just to experience what's going on with Mila.
For people who, I guess, you know, there are people who are, like, Tales super fans who are always going to play the game multiple times because they want to, like, get into the... like, get really deep into the combat system and learn the crazy combos and stuff. And
Oh, dude, like, I've seen like what some of these people can do with Tales' like combat system. It's insane.
blah 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 tidal wave, yeah. So, like, I guess for them it's like, oh, good, this means I'll get new content when I'm playing it the second time. But for, like, me who only plans to play a 70-hour RPG once in a 1-year span,
Yeah.
like, I don't, then it's just, like... They're also so unbalanced, too, because Mila's story is infinitely worse than Jude's story, and what you see and what you don't.
Which sucks, too, because it's like, you know, Mila's a great character.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not taking that away from her. It just sucks that, like, she kind of gets the short end of the stick when it comes to, like, having a good narrative presented for you.
Yeah, like, you'll get more Mila and more Muse in her route, and that's great, but you lose out on most of the party members, like, more interesting points, and, like, for me, they're the people I really care about, so, like, the thing with, like, Alvin fighting Jude during the, like, one part where you're separated is, like, the best part of the game.
Super cool! Super cool!
I think it came from a Zephyr Revolutions review on it, where he said, like, there's a part where if you're playing Jude's story, it's the best part of the game, and if you're playing Mila's, it's the worst.
Yeah, do you know who you fight in Mila's?
Do you fight Muse?
You fight Muse.
Yeah.
And while on the one hand, like
that's interesting.
It's interesting, but one, you have, like, almost little to no time with Muse to really get into why this is a big deal. Whereas with Alvin, it's a completely different story because, like, you got a lot more context.
Yeah.
And suddenly it becomes a lot more meaningful as to why this is a big deal. Because, like, Alvin's character, fantastic. One of the best in Xillia.
This is, like, how I feel in Persona games of, like, how I'm always going to prioritize learning about, like, getting the party members' social links first. Because, like, these are the people I travel with and fight alongside. I'm gonna care about them more than I care about, like, the mean girl. Or the girl in drama class. Those are great to get in addition to your party members, but...
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's kind of what, like, learning more about Muse is. Like, she seems interesting, I can tell there's depth there, I want to know what it is, but not at the expense of Alvin.
Yeah, not at the expense of Alvin, and definitely not at the expense of,
Elise, Jude,
of
Leia.
Mila.
Yeah.
Like, cause yeah, like, by extension, it becomes worse because it comes at the expense of Mila's character, because Mila now gets essentially shafted by something that, for all intents and purposes, she really didn't deserve. It's like, okay, yeah, we're fighting Muse, who's this, like, really important character. Okay, cool. I would love to know why she's so important.
Can I tell you my favorite, like, case study game in why having branching routes is dangerous?
Please, regale me.
Shadow the Hedgehog. It's very ambitious. I think there's good ideas in and around it, but you have, so it has a, like, kind of a neat concept on paper, where in every level you can do either a neutral good or bad thing, and then there's, like, this, like, spiderweb spreadsheet of where you either go to the missions on the top half or the bottom half, or straight forward, depending on what missions you do. So, like, you can have any one of, like, over 100 different routes through the game, and that'll determine what cutscenes you see in between and stuff, and what levels you play. But, like, because you can do these in any order and you get the same cutscenes without change, like, the story is incoherent.
Absolutely.
You'll get, like, Like, you might, like, get the scene where, like, the general of Gun is like, Shadow the Hedgehog, what he did to me, and you see him, like, cock a gun and then, like, look at a picture of Shadow and Sonic that he has on his desk for some reason, and he's like, we're gonna finish this. And depending on the route you're doing, you might never see him again.
I need to update my audio equipment.
Yeah.
I have updated my audio equipment.
Yeah, that scene. That exact scene.
I like... It speaks volumes when that scene is much more meaningful to me with the joke dub of the game rather than the game itself.
Yeah.
Like, that's kinda telling.
And... find the computer room. There is a reason why Vector is looking for the computer room. It's actually very plot critical.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just playing the game like a normal person...
God, would we love to know!
If you do, like, all 10 routes of that and see, like, the final, it's like, oh my god, I see why you had to go to the computer room. But while you're playing it, it's so stupid. Everything about the game's, like, flow and design is like it's going out of its way to make the story worse.
Yeah! Which, now that you mention that, right, Sonic seems to have a habit of doing that. Cause, again, like, it didn't quite go the egregious route of Shadow the Hedgehog, not by any stretch.
Yeah.
But Sonic 06 did it, Sonic Heroes did it. In a way, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 did it!
Yeah, those are at least, like, I feel like this is a little different where those are, like, multiple stories.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like...
But, like, it's just something I've noticed, that Sonic loves its split storylines.
Yeah, at least, like, I feel it is in one playthrough to play, like, both stories of Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah.
And then you get, like, a final story.
It's just kind of, it's just something I noticed that, like, I just found kind of, like, a little bit weird and interesting.
I kind of wonder sometimes if, like, even Sonic Adventure 1... I think Sonic Adventure 1 does one of the best jobs of, like, having, like, 6 different perspectives on the story, and then they all come together at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that game would be better if they just took every level from those 6 stories and, like, put them in some sort of order. So that, like, you're seeing... I'm not positive if it would, but I'm curious.
I know what you're getting at. And, yeah, I do agree with you.
So that, like, Big's fishing missions were laced in between... Gamma's shooting missions and Amy's running away from the robot and regular Sonic missions and Knuckles treasure hunts.
And yeah, like we just mentioned this before. Yeah, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 do the exact same thing. Light and Dark Side, and then you have Amy's and Sonic's and Chaos's story, and it's a mess, man. Like, not that I look to Sonic for coherent, like, storytelling, obviously, because, like, that's asking a little too much if I'm being real. But, at the same time, at the very least, I can safely say that, like, you know, going into Sonic the Hedgehog, I at least know going in that I'm probably going to have some fun.
Yeah. I've been reading the Sonic IDW comics lately, though, actually.
Aren't they great?
They are pretty great.
They're pretty freaking good. Like, I've been looking into that, too, and it's really, really charming... seeing some of these, like, characters, like, behave in such a way that feels so normal.
Yeah. It's very...
Like, it is legit fun listening to, or, like, reading, I guess, reading Sonic just ragging on Silver for being such a dork.
Yeah. It's very wholesome, overall. They make all the characters very wholesome.
One of my favorites is, interestingly enough, was the comic that was leading up to the Zombots, storyline.
And the Metal Virus.
And, like, there was one moment where like, Sonic and Silver are infiltrating a base, right?
Yeah.
And they met Whisper. And Whisper, really, really cool character.
Whisper's cool.
Super sick.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, I dig the fact that, like, you know, Silver is, like, geeking out over the fact that he gets to meet his guardian angel because, like, he's such a big fan of Whisper.
Yeah, because you, like, the way you first introduce Whisper in this series... She's like... She works like one of the Avatar characters in Sonic Forces, except she's like this badass and like is like kind of secluded, so she wasn't working with the other characters. So she like gained this reputation of being the like angel of the battlefield.
Yeah. The actual guardian angel.
Yeah.
And I like the way they introduce Silver to Whisper because, like, you know, Sonic was referencing, you know, taking down the Interstellar Amusement Park, which is a cool callback and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And Sonic, like, meets Whisper, and Whisper tells him their name. Her name is Whisper. And Silver's like, okay, but why? No, genius, Whisper is her name. Oh, right. Care to get the door for us, Flatware? I get the point. You don't have to rub it in. It's just fun listening to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's charming. And I kind of wish we had a little more of it, you know? But, you know, that's asking for something out of a comic as opposed to something more along the lines of a video game where they don't have... That's not the focus.
Yeah, a comic is going to be a better medium to do character interactions than a platformer. I like Tangle a lot. She's cool.
Tangle's great. Tangle's like kind of the moral compass for a character like Whisper, which is really cool.
She's like the optimism. She's the beam of light. I want Tangle in a video game. Oh my god.
Tangle would be fantastic.
She looks like she'd be a lot of fun to play as.
She seems awesome.
I think my favorite Silver moment so far, it comes a lot later, because Whisper's still being, like, reclusive, and Whisper doesn't, like, warm up to people super easily. She's been hurt before. Like, the main exception is that her and Tangle get really close. There's, like, a part way later where, like, what else? Silver and Blaze are back from their other dimension / future.
Yeah.
And are helping Sonic's the Resistance and stuff like that. And Silver's talking to Blaze about, like, how he always feels like such an outsider while he's here. And Blaze being, like, ever the pragmatist, she calls up how, like, Silver really loves plants, and they, like, planted that one garden in the old Eggman base and stuff. And she was like, those plants we did before, do you still care about them? And Silver's like, yeah, I care about the plants, but I'm talking about the people here. And she's like, but you can eat the plants. Do you plan to enjoy that harvest? And he's like, yeah. And she says, and in order to enjoy the bounty of that harvest, do you think you will need to put in hard work over a long period of time or do a few large gestures? And Silver says, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Actually, you want to talk about a character that is done justice in those comics. Blaze, dude.
Blaze is cool.
Blaze is, like, portrayed as this, like, very, very wise and, like, you know, caring person, but, like, to the point where, like, it's clear, like, it is very, very clear what her upbringing is, but it's never, like, flanderized, I guess is a good word to put it.
Yeah.
Like, she goes, like, it's clear that she grew up after the events of Sonic Rush.
Yeah.
And I like that they demonstrate that, you know? Like, she's very wise, she's very pragmatic, but, like, she's no nonsense, obviously, but she's no nonsense with a heart, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And she's like a princess, and she's very formal, but...
And I dig that.
Best character in this is E123 Omega.
Omega is so funny.
Best character, and not just because he's the robot, but because he wants to kill all the time.
Oh my... Dude, E123 Omega is so hilarious in the comics. Like, and a lot of that is because, again, E123 Omega, like, definitely has a personality. He definitely has, like... what's the word that you used?
Dramatic action? I used that a while ago.
He's self-actualized.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, right? But he's so single-minded.
Because his thing, he knows it's... Well, this isn't even what he was programmed to do. Because he was programmed to be an Eggman robot. He has decided he wants to destroy all of Eggman's creations all the time. And he's self-aware enough to, like, not, like, he doesn't want to destroy Shadow, even though Shadow was made by Gerald Robotnik, and even though Shadow, at one point, they thought he was an android made by...
If I recall correctly, actually, they kind of addressed that in Sonic Heroes to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why E123 Omega found that laboratory filled with Shadow clones.
Yeah, that's how they met. Yeah.
Yep. and that kind of led into the events of Shadow the Hedgehog, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
And it, like, I'm not going to lie, it is kind of interesting. Like, knowing that, hey, this is a thing that happened with Omega, but he understands enough to be like, yeah, I really, really, really want to destroy Eggman's robots because I want my revenge on Eggman.
Or, like, Gemerald is still, like, flying around, and Omega's like, okay, we're cool with Gemerald. I'm not gonna destroy that.
Yeah, he has the wisdom to understand when to do what he wants to do and when to not.
But he really wants to kill Eggman.
Oh my god!
He spends, most of the Metal Virus arc, the Zombot arc.
Yeah.
He gets... I mean, he does a number on a crowd of robot zombies.
Oh, yeah.
But then he eventually gets overwhelmed and torn apart, and he spends a great amount of time in that arc as just, like, a disembodied head.
Yeah.
My favorite part is there's a part where, like, they've started working with Eggman to try and combat the Metal Virus and stuff, and, he gets picked up by Orbot, and Orbot and Cubot are there, and they're like, sir, we believe this is your design. And Omega's going off about wanting to kill everybody there.
Yeah.
And Orbot's like, will you, please, all of your weapons have been removed. You're no harm to us. And Omega says, I am always a weapon. Please beat the robot next to you to death with me, and then yourself.
Yeah, I remember that bit. It's kind of like Asura's Wrath levels of spite, where, like, even if he has no arms, no legs, no limbs, no strength, he will kill you, even if it means killing himself. And it is glorious. I love Omega in the comics.
It reminds me a lot of K2SO from Star Wars Rogue One.
K2SO.
Passive aggressive droid. Who... Favorite part is in the one, like, super, like, somber moment when goes up to the main character and he says, I'll stand by you. Cassian says I have to. And then walks away.
Yup. Oh, man.
I love droids. Love droids, love robots.
Dude, like, when we did Top 10 Robots, that was a fun video to do. I had a great time with that one.